Thanks very much, and first of all, thanks to everyone for coming here today, coming here to Birmingham to show our opposition to the cuts, our support for the principle of public services and public sector jobs, but above all, the way that we all represent our unions, our localities and our local anti-cuts campaigns. This is a time to mobilise, to organise, to defend our public services and to say to this condemned government, no, 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 you are not making the cuts, you are not making mass unemployment, you are not destroying the very fabric of our communities. I remember very clearly, because I'm old enough to remember it, the 1980s. Thatcher won the 79 election and set about destroying the big industries, set about destroying the big unions, set about destroying the miners during the miners' strike, and at the same time came after local government and came after the health service, and we had a generation of unemployment. In my own area it reached over 20%, it was even higher in some of the South Wales valleys and in Scotland and in the North East. That was the price that we all paid for that government and that kind of free market philosophy. We are faced now with a condemned government, ideologically as right-wing, as dedicated to cuts, as dedicated to, in their words, rolling back the state as Thatcher ever was. Make no mistake about the ideology behind it. The bankers' crisis of 2008 led to public ownership of the banks. I say, keep those banks in public ownership, change the directors and make them work as social enterprises, not to be sold back or given back to the private sector at the first opportunity. I also say that the argument that the debt must be paid now in record time by cuts in public expenditure is dishonest and wrong. But it has been done before, it has been tried before, it has been carried out before. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have been lecturing the poorest countries in the world for the past 30 years into cuts in public spending, privatisation and increasing the gap between the rich and the poor. The shanty towns around every African capital city, around many Latin American capital cities, show where that philosophy leads to. That is what is now being done in Europe. That is what is happening in Greece, happening in Spain, happening in Portugal, happening in Ireland, and what is planned for this country. I want to see not a cut spending statement on October the 20th. I want to see a statement that says we're going to close down the tax loopholes, we're going to close down the tax evasion, we're going to increase income tax at the top end, we're going to increase corporation tax, and we're going to look at the issues of inequality in health. We're going to look at the issues of poverty within our society, and we're going to redress those balances. I know that is not what is on the agenda, but I say to you, in this campaign, don't let them denigrate public sector workers as being overpaid, lazy and overpensioned. The reality is the vast majority of public employees are underpaid, overworked and do not get magnificent pensions. Support their jobs, support their work, support those principles. And the idea that we will improve our health service by introducing or reintroducing the internal market and doing the same in local government is like inviting every spiff to come in and take over every hospital, every day centre, every care authority, and to make the poorest pay and introduce the principle of services for the rich and services for those that can afford it. We are here today in Birmingham, in the pouring rain, showing our absolute determination to defend our welfare state, to defend the poor in this country, to stop the condemned cuts, and to stand for society based on the needs of everyone, not the greed of the few. Stand firm, be strong, organise, mobilise. Thank you very much.